For any Xbox or PlayStation codes or cheap games on any platform, use the referral link in the description. It'll take you to g2a.com. Use the promo code CHES over there and you'll get yourself 3% cash back. For all No Identity merchandise, hats, hoodies and t-shirts, follow the link in the description down below to the No Identity Fan Fibre website. Hey guys, welcome to episode number 12 of Season 4 here in the career mode Road to Glory. Today we're doing something that we've actually not done throughout the entirety of this series. We are entering the January transfer window, and considering this is the first transfer window in the entire series that we've actually had some decent money to spend in a transfer window, I thought it best to slow things down, take a beat, and think genuinely long and hard about what we want to do in this window. We have about 40 odd £million available to us, as you can see here, and of course the wage budget currently at £281,000. So what can we do with that money? Over the past couple of episodes you guys will have been letting me know your feedback, and I'll be taking that into account moving forward from today's episode further forward into the future. There we go. Was able to stumble through that. There's actually been, I'm really going to need your feedback on this. There's been a lot of call in the comment section for me to move on a number of the players that we rebuilt when I had to rebuild the save at the end of season number 1. Players, or the main players in question are, if I actually saw by overall rating, because they're all at the top now, Navarrete we're not selling, obviously. Greco is still questionable, but that would probably happen next season. But the main players you guys, or there was a calling to potentially move on, would take Clark-Salter, because his potential was kind of mid-70s and he's now 81. And a few people are kind of voicing their opinions as to the fact they think that a few players have grown vastly beyond their potential, and they don't like the fact that the rebuilt players I have the potential to get to like the mid-90s, because they feel it's just too unrealistic for a player to become that good when, in theory, in real life, they never will be, and even in game, even with training, they might not have reached the mid-90s. So Jake Clark-Salter is one in question, as is Joel Asoro, as is Bradley Halliday at right back as well. So those three, I would consider selling those three if you guys would like me to do so. Let me know your feedback in the comment section down below. As things stand, I'm contemplating selling Benyat in this window as well, because if we're going to be selling everybody else, then we might as well replace Benyat now, whilst we'll have a ginormous amount of money. If Clark-Salter at about 30 million, Asoro at over 30 million, and Halliday at about 15 to 20 million all sell, then I'll have a massive amount of money to spend in this window. And as such, I want to spend it the right way. So that's what I'm contemplating at present. The only players transfer listed are Joel Mason and Bailey Wright. Now, bear in mind, if we do end up selling Bradley Halliday as well, that would mean I would need 2 right-back signings, because that would leave us without a right-back. We have Gieselman and Roussillon currently at left-back, and that would leave me without a right-back. So I would need to sign a right-back in this window. At least 1, if not 2. Maybe, perhaps I could recall Rico Henry from loan, and he could be a backup right-back. But as things stand, these are the players that my scouts have gone out and looked at for potential pre-contract signings for next season. At this particular moment in time, I haven't got any players on my transfer list that I would be looking to buy in this window, which is where your suggestions come in. For any position, I'll show you the squad as it stands at the end of the video, but these are the players that I'm currently looking at potentially on pre-contracts for next year. Let me know your thoughts on these guys. Joel Robles, obviously at goalkeeper, we have 2 youngsters that are both 77 rated at 17 years of age. We could potentially move one of them on, considering we don't really need both to be as amazing as they have the potential to be. So we could maybe move one of them on, and Joel Robles could come in, although I'm not overly fussed about the goalkeeper situation. Right back, Thomas Callas has been on my shortlist for ages. He might be a good backup right back to bring in. We could sell Halliday and he'd be dirt cheap to bring in. Mitchell Weiser, that would be Callas permanently now, by the way. Mitchell Weiser is someone we could look to bring in on a pre-contract at right back. Obviously, he's being scouted at present. I don't know his exact stats at this particular moment in time, but he looks great on the ball and has good crossing as well, and passing too, which obviously will be important considering the style of football I play. Gabriel, interestingly, at Arsenal is available on a pre-contract for next season. Something we could bear in mind at 28 years of age. Ben Davis is also available on a pre-contract. He could potentially replace Gieselman next season at left-back as my rotation left-back, or even my first-team left-back, and Roussillon would drop to rotation left-back, and then we could sell Gieselman. Marcus Rojo is also available on a pre-contract. He would probably be used at centre-back more so than left-back, to be completely honest. But he could play at wing-back if needs be. Another potential pre-contract signing for next season. Nukuri and Kessie obviously would be signings I'd sign permanently, but I'm leaning away from those two now, to be completely honest. I may even take them off the shortlist before you actually see this video. Moving forward into the other central midfield options, James Ward-Prowse is someone I would consider buying now. Maybe Benyat replacement. Almost certainly Benyat replacement. James Ward-Prowse. If we sell Benyat in this window, or even use Benyat as part of a deal to bring James Ward-Prowse in, then he would be my preferred central midfielder. Milos Jojic is someone we could look at on a pre-contract. These are all pre-contracts now for next season. Not that good in the tackle, but more of an offensive central midfielder. Afri Akwa is kind of an all-round player, very good physically, as you can see. Decent in the pass, decent in the tackle. And like I say, another all-round midfielder. Safir Taider is another all-round midfielder that's better at creating opportunities with the passing than he is in the tackle, but still good enough in the tackle, something to contemplate with regard to pre-contract. Jack Rodwell we already have scouted, and he is available on a pre-contract as well. I've previously been interested in Jack Rodwell, although obviously James Ward-Prowse is 4 ratings higher and also 3 years younger, so I'd obviously lean towards James Ward-Prowse. Tony Vilhena is not available on a pre-contract, but he moved to Real Madrid a season ago? 2 seasons ago, in 2016. So he's someone that I would contemplate going in for at just 23 years of age. That might mean that we'd have to move on another couple of midfielders. Perhaps Corbinian Folman would leave us as well in this window. Massimo Bruno is a player I know nothing about, and he could potentially be a Folman replacement as well. He could play at cam or on either side of midfield, similarly to Jeffrey Beer, actually. Don't know what his overall is, don't know anything about him. Don't even know whether his stats will actually be that decent, but he was a potential prospect for a pre-contract. Riyad Boudabous, however, is extremely good technically. He's 28 years old, extremely good technically, and could potentially come in that cam role. We have Ravel Morrison, who is already scouted and available to sign on a pre-contract. 81 rated, 25 years of age, could come in again in that cam role, where currently Lino Navarrete is. But I would be willing to sell Alessandrini to move Navarrete back out wide. Or maybe I could sell Roman Alessandrini to bring in another right-sided midfielder, and these guys would come in as a backup cam to Navarrete, perhaps. I'm not sure. Obviously, still needs a lot of working out, which is where you guys come in. Rodrigo is available on a pre-contract. He can play up top at striker or on either side of midfield. So he'd be an extremely good player. Obviously, the majority of you will know all about Rodrigo already. Bertrand Traore is available on a pre-contract. And he would be pretty tasty, to be honest. Kind of like a ready-made replacement for Joel Asoro. So maybe we'll sell Joel Asoro, bring Bertrand... Well, no, if I sell Joel Asoro for like 40 million, then I might as well buy someone that's a bit better than Bertrand Traore and buy someone that's world-class. But you guys might feel that we're not necessarily at the stage where we warrant a world-class player yet. But it would also perhaps be a waste to lose that money if we were to sell Joel Asoro, bring Bertrand Traore in on a pre-contract and not really use that money elsewhere with the 30 plus million. Sandro we could sign. I don't know anything about him. I think it's the Sandro that used to be at Barcelona. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course. But I think it's the Sandro that used to be at Barcelona. He's quick, great finishing by the looks of things, 83 to 93, and good on the ball as well with regards to dribbling. Passing's not that good, but you don't really need passing to be that brilliant as a striker. He's got good agility as well, which could be crucial. Maybe perhaps a good replacement for Emery Moore. We can perhaps sell... Emery Moore's loan runs out at the end of this season, so Sandro could perhaps be a replacement for him. Luis Muriel is someone I would contemplate buying now, but to be fair, actually, I'm just going to remove him because we got the money to buy someone better. And Kylian Mbappé has obviously been in the spotlight recently because of Manchester City's game against Monaco in the Champions League. Played very well. His stats don't stand out that much. He's just very quick and he's very good at dribbling. But why his overall is 79, I'm not entirely too sure. Because he doesn't look like a 79 rated player. But perhaps we could... He's only 20 years old. Perhaps we could move on Wiedemont and maybe Beer as well and bring Mbappé Lotan in. I know it seems a bit perhaps disloyal to be moving on players like Alessandrini and Beer and Benyat, players that we bought in this season at the beginning of this season. But if we are genuinely going to improve for next season, whilst we've got this amount of money, we might as well do it now and actually move those players on and get better players in. We've got Zedos on the right hand side as well that I'd consider selling. Alessandrini is 76 rated, and actually Zedos has been outshining him. So maybe we'll sell Alessandrini. Let's go to the transfer list and actually let me actually visualise this as I'm doing it. I've gone into the wrong tab there, I think. I have. Let me go to the transfer list so I can visualise the positions and, of course, the players in said positions as well. So move across here. Goalkeeper-wise, Cooper and Watson, both 17 years of age, both very similar stat-wise. You can see they're all Watsons. Feel free to pause it and then have a closer look. And similarly with Cooper. Cooper is valued at less, despite the fact that he's it's his kicking that's 84, I suppose. So that perhaps means that that means that his overall is slightly higher than it perhaps could be, which was the case with our previous goalkeeper as well, Shane Hamilton. His kicking was 99, which artificially inflated his overall rating. At centre-back, Bennett is now 79 rated at 18 years of age. Obviously, going to have to start contemplating playing him more often than not. Bailey Wright is transfer listed. He'll be leaving. Harry Darling is just a youngster that is half decent. Jake Clark-Salter is the player that we were potentially, if you guys want me to, be selling on to replace with someone else. So bear that in mind. Davinson Sanchez and Clark-Salter are currently my two starting centre-backs, but Bennett I could play alongside Davinson Sanchez, and maybe we could use the Clark-Salter money elsewhere and bring in someone like Gabriel on a pre-contract for next season. Again, it's all up to you. At left-back, Gieselman is currently my backup, with Roussillon being my number one left-back. Would contemplate bringing in another left-back now if we were to sell Gieselman. Although perhaps we could sign Ben Davies on a pre-contract and then sell Gieselman in the summer. Could also perhaps sell Gieselman now and recall Rico Henry from loan for the rest of the season and then send him out on loan again next year. At right back, like we say, we are looking to sell on Mason. And at Halliday, it is up to you whether you want me to sell him or not. I don't really have a preference, to be completely honest, so if you want me to sell him, I will. With regards to midfield, I'm actually going to put Brown on the loan list. And Follman I'm going to sell. Hernan has obviously been very good for us so far, so we'll be keeping him. Watson I'm going to put on the loan list as well. Berry I want to keep as well. Benyat I will actually put on the transfer list. I've kind of decided in the process of making this video that I want to sell Benyat in this window and not wait till next summer. Loftus-Cheek is obviously very good for us so far this season. And Benyat is currently his holding midfield partner, but we would look to replace him in this window with the money we have available to us. On the left-hand side of midfield, I could sell Bia and Wiedemont and bring in someone else in this window to play on that left-hand side, or maybe maybe buy Mbappé Lotan, sell Bia and Wiedemont, and have Greco and Lotan on the left-hand side. Options. I will put at least Wiedemont. Actually, do I do Wiedemont or do I do Bia? Because Wiedemont and Bia are kind of very, very similar in rating. Let's put, considering Bia is older, valued at 100 grand more and on more wages, let's put him on the transfer list and not Wiedemont. Let's show a little bit of loyalty perhaps to someone that was with us in the Championship and has come up. Because I feel kind of bad by being so disloyal to these players, but we'll add Roman Alessandrini to the transfer list. Navarrete will continue on at Cam, so that's not to consider changing. He's 88 rated now, though. Zedos is 77 rated at 25, and like we say, he's been playing quite well for me so far this season. And at present, up top, Emery Moore's loan runs out this season. McLaren wants to leave. I'd be reluctant to sell him, especially if Joel Asoro is going to leave. But then we'd replace Joel Asoro with someone of equal quality, if not higher quality, so perhaps McLaren would need to leave as well. This has the potential to be a massive, massive window with over 100 million made in player sales, with perhaps over 100 million spent on new players as well. That's why I wanted to just kind of take a beat, have an extra episode, just so we could run through that and you guys could give me your feedback before I push any further forward in the series. So hopefully it's a little bit clearer in your mind. A few things have become a little bit more clear in my mind with regards to Benya and Bia and players like that. So let me know about the whole created player thing, because obviously if you weren't with us from the very beginning or from the end of Season 1, at the end of Season 1, as we were heading into Season 2, I unfortunately overwrote the save file and had to rebuild it from scratch, which is why we're despite the fact we're Season 4 in the series, in the save, we're only in Season 3. That's why we're a year behind with regards to the actual in-game dates. And I put through all of my transfers from Season 1 and the beginning of Season 2 into the save before we carried on. This was 2.5 seasons ago, of course, bear in mind. And players like Bradley Halliday, Jake Clark-Salter, and there was one more, Joel Mason, I regened. Actually, Harry Darling as well, that's there. All the players without a face, and Joel Asoro. Shane Hamilton I rebuilt, but obviously we've sold him on since then. And I would be willing to do that with Jake Clark-Salter and with Bradley Halliday and with Asoro and with, well, Joel Mason wants to leave anyway. So I would be willing to do that, and we would obviously have a ginormous amount of money to spend to kind of replace those players and upgrade those players as well. So there's going to be a lot of discussion going on in the comments. Feel free to tweet me and discuss with me on Twitter as well. There is a link in the description to my Twitter, so head on over there and follow me and give me your opinions there too if you would like to. And I can't reply to everybody, but I try and reply to as many people as possible. And even if I can't reply, I'll make sure that I favourite your tweet so that you know that I've seen it. But for now, that's going to bring today's episode to a close. Apologies, this was just a lot of spiel, a lot of talk, but I felt that it was necessary considering the scale of the window we're about to go into. So drop the video a like if you enjoy, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you next time.